everyone, good evening and welcome back to my vlog by Ovo. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the channel. And if you're an OG, like you've been here, you've been one of our old subscribers, you're simply amazing. Thank you for sticking with vlog. So I know that from the caption many people will say, oh, another relocation vlog. Yes, I'm one of them. Japa part 2. Yeah, I know. I have left the UK for somewhere on earth. And yeah, I'm here to give you all the tea. I'm going to tell you about my experiences, my regrets, my rewards, what I really loved about the UK. So if this is something you are interested in, please stay tuned to the end. And if not, still stay tuned. You might have somebody who is interested in it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the good parts, all right? So things I appreciated about the UK. And I tell you, there are a good number of them, but I'll highlight just 5. So one is the relationships I built. I don't think you stay in the UK for about 3 years. I stayed in the UK for 3 years and you won't even build a friendship. I built long-lasting, good friendships. I tell you, we're not being each other's, message every other day, but I met with people that I feel, oh, their qualities are really endearing and I really appreciate, ranging from workmates to those I meet in the service, in the congregation. I'm a Christian, and all of that. I feel these were meaningful friendships which I don't take for granted. All right. So yeah, the relationships I built were a big deal for me when I was in the UK, and yeah, something that I really appreciate. So the second is the opportunity to work in healthcare. As a Nigerian, if you haven't read or if you didn't read the sciences, you have really no business working in healthcare, so to speak. Or maybe you're doing marketing for maybe a pharmaceutical company. Yes, but that's the highest you can go. But after COVID happened, there was a great need for healthcare workers, right? And I happened to move to UK in 2021 when there was a great need for healthcare workers. So the door was wide open. And I tell you, for many of us who had immigrated that year, we had to work in healthcare, not because someone put a gun on our head to work in healthcare, but because there were countless job opportunities in that field. And I happened to be one of those people who embraced the opportunity. The company would train you on what to do and trying to balance this thing and how best to go about it. So I really benefited from that experience, and I had to work. And later on in my career, like it's a long word, anyways. Later on in my career in healthcare, I was able to work with different professionals like physiotherapists, doctors, nurses, language therapists, so many. So I was like, wow. So there's such a huge benefit from working here, or experience to gain, and it brought out in me qualities I never thought I had. Like, I was more empathetic, I became more patient, and all those good vibes, all those good qualities, I was able to imbibe in them and then hone those qualities in me. So working in the healthcare sector, I'll try to put some clips around this video as I am filming. Sorry, my camera is just falling back and forth. Let me try to adjust it. Okay, let me try. Okay, so those experiences are things I don't take for granted. Having to work in the healthcare, having to work in, as a domiciliary carer, and then working in a care home, and then working in a hospital. Yeah, it was a lot, especially to take it in just 3 years. And then I really appreciate that I gained that in the UK. No cap. So the next point I would want to say is that the culture of the people. For the first time, I was able to live amongst people who were not of my culture, and I appreciated their culture. For example, I know back in Nigeria, we would say, oh, the white people, the British people, they don't have food. They have food though. They have food, and very sumptuous one at that. They don't eat vegetables. They eat a lot of vegetables, fresh ones. I was able to learn quite a number of recipes from my British friends, and they invited me for lunch, dinner. I was only able to learn about the Caribbean cuisine because I was once invited for a lunch at a particular house, and then I was able to see what the Caribbean cuisine looks like. There was a lot to learn from. I'm telling you, the exposure living in the UK will give you, I don't know where else I would have been able to gain that. Like apart from the food, being polite even when you're angry. The British people, they're very good at being polite even when they're angry. They know how to, say certain words, or write their email and all of that. You just be like, wow, it's not like Nigeria where we, if you do anyhow, you see anyhow. So I think the British culture was really lovely, and then I was able to learn about their school system. If you know, I was working in I was a teacher back in Nigeria, but having switched, I had my young son was attending school in the UK, and I was able to see what their curriculum looks like. I was able to have like first hand to see what they teach them, how they go about. In fact, there are a lot of things to learn. So the experiences I gained, and the culture I was able to, to be exposed to, I really appreciate that, and I don't take it for granted. So I mentioned three things. The first is the relationships built. I also mentioned um the experiences I gained working in the healthcare, and thirdly I mentioned the culture. Let me check my notes for one more. I think I had penned some of them. Oh yeah. Another one I see is the tenacity to strive. Back in Nigeria, it's easy to be laid back. I'm not saying Nigerians are very hardworking, but there is just this different kind of this relaxation you just have in your home country. Like you're not paying bills as such. You're paying bills, but it's not like here where you have heavy bills to pay, like a lot of bills. But you're a bit laid back. You have support. You have all of that. But in the UK, you have to be on your toes. You have to build tenacity. Like come winter, come summer, you're going to work, especially if you are on COS. So you have to work, and it just builds in you this resilience to to strive amidst difficulties. If you can relate, please relate to me in the comment section. Please just relate to me, because I just hope that as you're getting this information I'm passing. Yeah. All right. So talking about the good part, I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, living in a place that things work and all that. I'm going to just leave it at that. The many good things that the UK can bring. Now I'm going to move over to the things that I wish were better. I'm going to say this with a straight face. Like I just wish things were not the way they are. And number one on my list is the work life. You see, working in the UK, if you're a citizen or you have your permanent stay, it's not the same ball game with working in the UK when you are on a certificate of sponsorship, except you have a very good job. But if you're being sponsored, oh dear, you have to work according to the terms of your employer. And those terms are usually not the best. I would just say the way it is. They're usually not the best. They're looking for, people that can work really, really hard and then give them their money. And I tell you, I worked in domiciliary care, good company, but I tell you, the way they treat, those on certificate of sponsorship or those who are sponsored are different from the way they treat, the British workers or those who have their stay, who are just doing the work. So, you tend to work like twice as hard as the normal worker. That's just the truth. So, if you're on sponsorship, you work a whole lot. You work on times you don't even want to work. You just have to go to work to fulfill your contract. And I tell you, if you don't fulfill your contract, I bet you don't have enough money to take home. So the work life for new immigrants, the work life for those on sponsorship is not the best, except from very good companies, and maybe I don't know, except you're just fortunate to be in a good company. Yeah, so that is one. The second one is, of course, if you're working so hard because you're sponsored, then your family life is affected, because on Sundays, on Saturdays, you have to go to work because it's in your contract and you have to fulfill that obligation. So I think the work-life balance, yeah, for new immigrants, if you're on COS, was one thing I did not appreciate. And then you having little or no time for your family, it's yeah, that one I don't really like it. Then the next one, coming back to this family life, couples that have little children, how are people doing it? Because don't ask me, 'cause I don't even know how I did it. Sorry, I'm laughing, but I really don't know how I did it, because it was not even funny. How are you people doing it? Tell me in the comment section, how are you doing it? Because I remember then myself, I was working full time, my husband was also working full time, and then we had to pay for daycare for my son, and the daycare did not come cheap. Your children don't have benefits, you don't have child benefit or anything, you don't even have the support system you would have had when you were back home. I know friends will say, bring them over, don't worry, bring them over. But I tell you, those are your friends to go to work. And you don't want to be that kind of person that is always bringing your children over. And it's just like, I don't know how to put, maybe just me, like you're encroaching on someone else's privacy. And that's how I see it. So ch- child support for new immigrants, those on work visa, is expensive. And except maybe one person wants to work and the other person will stay at home with the little children. But then you know that there will be financial constraints, especially if you don't really, the one sponsor doesn't really have a good job, or you're paying maybe next to minimum wage. How are you going to do it? So, that being said, I just mentioned two things: work life, family life, couples with small children. I tell you, it's not easy. Except maybe you're bringing your family over, your auntie, your grandma, maybe they're coming to stay with you. Then you can have it a bit easy. But I tell you, juggling all of this is not easy. It's not ideal for young couples that have children and all of that. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the uncertainty that comes with attaining your ILR. Like, you can just be working one day and God forbid something just happens. What happens? You're out of job, you're out of your chances of getting a permanent stay. Like, it's so uncertain. I don't know. It's that thing can even give you anxiety sometimes. Like, it's so uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, maybe I don't just know. But the uncertainty that comes to you getting your ILR on a good day is normal. Many thousands, millions of people have gotten their permanent stay and citizenship in the UK. But you who is in that shoe of like, okay, I'm here right now. I'm doing the work visa. I'm going to work for 5 years to get my ILR. There's just something in this back of your mind. I'm telling you, everything should just go well, oh. Everything should just go well. Let me just get my ILR and citizenship and everything. I will rest. Yeah, but the uncertainty that comes, the way the law changes, dear, I'm telling you, it's not. Well, let's leave it at that. But I'm just giving you the reasons why I did not really like. I regret. I don't mean to say I regretted, but the reasons why UK was not just conducive for me at some point. It means different for you if you're a single person, or if you're married and you have grown-up children. It may be a different ball game entirely. But I'm telling you the reasons why I decided that, oh, I have to leave the UK. Yeah, okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is spiritual life. Work life, family life, spiritual life. Spiritual life even join. Because working on Sundays, it means that your service days, it's not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed. The days you want to go for maybe ministry, evangelize, all those things we do back home, you just sit down. If you're on a work visa, I'm telling you, your job comes first. Honestly speaking, you may have a manager that understands that, okay, I won't be available on Wednesdays, I won't be available on Sundays, but your work just comes first. You just have to push every other thing aside to focus on that job that will give you your stay. And personally, I don't like to be in that kind of situation. That is why I was, hanging on. But as soon as I gave birth to my second son, I was like, this is not going to be, because that 5 years you're working to get your papers. What happens to your children those 5 years? What happens to your spiritual life those 5 years? What happens to every other facet of your life in those 5 years? I'm not discouraging you. I'm just telling you how I felt. So there are a bunch and many more good things I really appreciate about the UK. But when I look at those other things, I felt, nah. Some at the point I felt like, even if it's Nigeria, I may just have to go back and come back another day to fight this fight. As in, I got to that point of, I'm going to be putting clips here and there so you can just look at what I mean. But then I had to come to that point of surrender, like, this is not working. This is not working. I know they will say yes, but your husband, you can stay at home. I had to switch cameras. Anyways, so my case was different because I got my certificate of sponsorship before my husband even graduated from school. So I was already on the process of, the 1 year was already counting. So when he graduated, from before he graduated, I said the law changed again. So we're in that situation. So yeah. Anyways, all this being said, I hope you are able to, hear from me firsthand. And if you resonate with my experience, please share in the comment section or feel free to send me a message. These are the reasons why I decided to leave the UK. These are the reasons why I love the UK. And this is why I've so in my next vlog, I'm going to talk about the relocation vlog part 2. Java part 2, the relocation vlog part 2. Oh my god, my lips. Part 2. So I'm going to tell you about the process of moving, how we moved, and all of that gist. All right. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching to this point of the video. It's been about, this is like one of my longest videos. It's been about 14 minutes or thereabouts. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you subscribe and like the video and comment. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.